Look, I use my Cricut for everything. I make mugs, I make t-shirts, I make decals, all pieces that I sell on my website, thehavenconnection.com. Now, when my Cricut rollers started going all stretchy and mash up and haywire, I decided to deal with this dilemma because I was tired of always having to stand over my machine while it was cutting and supervising, and sometimes having to interrupt and waste very good vinyl. So I contacted Cricut, and they basically told me that my machine was out of warranty, could not be repaired, and that I would have to basically buy a new machine. And that just couldn't do, and that was not the life I was meant to live. So I went on a deep dive on YouTube, online. I found a kit from Amazon. I put a screenshot of it earlier in the videos that you could use. And I went through all these videos on YouTube, and it was very, very discouraging because usually I find that YouTube doesn't really tell you everything that you need in order to do something. But lo and behold, by the grace of the Netaru, I found a video that seemed to be very detailed. The gentleman on it gives a lot of information, a lot of explanation, and I also put a screenshot of that video in my in the beginning of this one here. So I think the only thing that was missing was a particular detail about how to remove the cover, which is why I had to go on another video to find that one detail, but everything else was perfect. So before I started this endeavor, I was speaking to my brother, the engineer, and he told me 2 tips. He said, number 1, make sure that you have time so that you do not feel rushed, because when you feel rushed, you will miss some steps. Number 2, he said, make yourself a sticky board with some tape where you would put all the screws and all the pieces on it in accordance to the order that you remove them. That way, when you can come back later, when you're on the reversed method of putting everything back together, you can grab the screws in accordance to where you remove them. So that was amazing in terms of tips, something I started right away. That's the first thing I did, made that sticky board. And I went on to start removing things. So it's a lot of removal in order to get to that rod, because you have to take off the cover, disconnect the motor, take off so many things in order to get to that piece. Oh, listen. All of that for this. Yes, all of that. It was so much to remove that rod, but it felt so satisfying to finally get to that moment where I could access the parts that I needed to replace. So I started with cutting off those old rollers. I showed them in the beginning, applying the new ones, sliding them in with the washers according to how that video stated. Everything went so smooth. And I have to say that putting it back together was a lot easier than, putting it back together was a lot easier than removing it. It's just a matter of like working in reverse. So that was really satisfying. I was so happy to be able to do that, and to know that my Cricut journey could resume without further problems. So I got to the top with everything. So it's back together. It's back together, but the true test will be once I do a little test print. But so far, so good. I'm gonna clean it up, and then I'll do the test. The cleanup process was mainly using a paper towel and some 99% alcohol to wipe down everything. There's a lot of goo, a lot of material that's around the motor and around the power side, the button side, so I had to do that. It turns on. It's rolling pretty nicely. It's rolling pretty nicely. Oh, I hope I never have to do this again. But if I do,
I'll be ready because I got these. Okay, a whole bunch of them in the pack. Okay, that's right. So let's do this test print.
Yeah, the kit came with 8 rollers. So I definitely have more if I do have to do it again. I have to say I'm not as intimidated as I thought I would be, because now that I've done it once, I know that I can do it again. So I took that same alcohol, I cleaned up all my tools, cleaned my table, and then proceeded to find a design on the Cricut workspace, design space. And I decided to do something that's like more encouragement, more in line with the project that I just finished. And so I found a design. I put the vinyl, I'm doing some just regular permanent vinyl, put it on the mat, and then went on to insert it in the machine. Everything's working beautifully. Beautifully. The rollers are nice and tight with the mat. It's rolling everything. I'm super confident that this will last a long time. And to be honest, I don't quite remember how the rollers were on the machine initially. I never knew that was going to become a problem. But these ones are super hard. Like, they seem like hard rubber versus like just regular plastic, right? So I did the print, everything, worked really well. So happy about the fact that my Cricut journey can resume. I can continue to make my products efficiently and without worry. I can walk away, do something else, and multitask when the time comes. So that's really good. The message is to let your faith be bigger than your fear. And I feel that this is so important in all areas of life, because when we are fearful, we are completely frozen and we do not do the things that the Creator has allowed us and empowered us to do. So this was such a good experience for that. And I wanted to make myself a reminder on my book using that piece, because, at the end of the day, as my brother said, like, in this world of disposable everything, garbage everywhere, it is good when we can recycle and reuse things that are good, that are still working. So that's what I did. At the end of the day, I'm not putting another piece of garbage. My Cricut is going to work for a little while longer, as long as I can. And I'm happy. Thanks for being here.